Hello and welcome back to the Docker series. In this episode, we are going to take a look at these two things, entry point versus CMD. So in the previous videos you saw sometimes where I used entry point, sometimes CMD to be the command that's being executed when the Docker container actually runs. And the question arises, what's the difference? So let's switch to the slide where we have actually both. So the difference is that CMD is the part that can be overwritten by the user, entry point not. Okay, so in this case we have this Docker file where we have curl installed, so it's still not something fancy. And then we say that the entry point, so the order doesn't matter, and that's I actually on purpose put them on the wrong order, let's say, on the different order. So entry point is the thing that comes on the command line, and then the whatever CMD has, and then they both can be these lists or Python-like lists where you have a square bracket, and in there you have strings separated with commas. Like here in the CMD version, I already had two. In the entry point, I only have one value, but what Docker does is that you run it with Docker run and the name of the image, then it will combine together the content of the entry point and then afterwards the content of CMD. But as a user, you can replace the content of the CMD part. So let's switch to the screen, and actually this is in the curl runner directory, so you can see it's curl runner. So here we are in the examples. I'll go to the curl runner directory where you can see this Docker file, and then I can build this Docker file. So Docker build, here it is, already have, and it's my Docker, just to have the same name. And apparently I've already built most of it, so I have it in the cache. And now we have the image, and we can run it. So you can say Docker run --rm because we don't want to keep it, right? We don't need IT, we just because it's not interactive. So my Docker would run, and this will get and fetch the URL that they gave it. And let's just switch back to what's the URL. So the original URL is this http bin org get, and let me take that. I don't have it here linked, but this website, oops, sorry, wrong website, wrong copy paste. So if actually it's whatever, it's here. Okay, so this is the website, the http bin.org. And this website is a really nice place where you can experiment with all of your HTTP requests. So for example, you can go to the just HTTP methods and you say get, and you can see how this is going to work out. Actually, and then actually you can use your own client to use it. So when you run against just send a get request to this URL, you will get back. Now it's fancy because of my browser, but basically it's just the JSON structure that you get back. So this is exactly what you saw on the command line here, that it returns you this thing. Now this was in silent mode, right? Because that's what the configuration said. So the Docker said ---- silent. Now if I just run the same thing, but actually I can put the same URL here, and then you can see the difference. So now we overwrote the whole content of CMD, both the URL, which is in this case the same, but also the ---- silent. So that's why you can see this information here, because that's the default behavior of curl. And of course here we can also say something else. So subgub.com, that's one of my websites, my private website, and it's, well, right, so it needs HTTPS in order to get you. But that's nice because you also already got the content of the redirect. So that's basically what I wanted to show, that the entry point is always there. It's like fixed in the image. The CMD is just the default extension of it, and then you can override the CMD part. And that's it. We're going to see something else in the next video. In the meantime, enjoy playing with this.